And B Wig, you brought up. Look, first of all, shout out to the 01 Miami Hurricanes.
Yep, 20
awesome
years.
Teams. B Wig, you brought up saying that the 01 Miami Hurricanes team was smashed the 2019 LSU teams, and for some reason, that was like on the internet the past day, yesterday. I was looking, I was like, wow. I'm like, dude, what the heck? But we were texting back for yesterday. It's a different game. The players were different. The game is different. And the training, in my mind, the training was different.
Right.
Just like K-Man just alluded to, you had old GMs looking for a certain thing. They stuck to that model. Mm-hmm. They stuck to that model. But now the game is different. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
What y'all?
The reason I feel like the reason I would take the 01 Miami Hurricanes over like the 2019 LSU Tigers is because I feel like, and I understand everything that you said. I get it, and it makes sense. It's true. Athletes are different. Training is different. We're creating faster dudes. We're creating more dominant dudes. But Miami was so far ahead of their time. Like, Sean Taylor was the first, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say last of his kind. There was only one Sean Taylor, a strong safety.
I'll give you that one.
A strong safety who was, how tall was he? 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, it's about 6'2".
200 almost 230 pounds, 235 pounds.
30 pounds.
Today's middle linebacker, bigger in some senses, that could run a 4.3, cover anybody,
exactly,
and knock your head off. And so you had players like that. You had players like Ed Reed, generational players. You had players like Kellen Winslow, before he dude. We knock Kellen Winslow for being crazy. Okay, he's crazy. But on the field, on the football field, which is what we're talking about.
Okay.
On the football field, dude was generational.
I don't think he started for them. I think Shockey started.
Shockey started, but after Shockey left, then he took over, obviously. You had dudes like Clinton Portis, who's not generational, but he was a really great running back. Willis McGahee, really good running back. Frank Gore, he's generational. I consider him generational because nobody has ever had the longevity or ever had the longevity at running back than Frank Gore. You had Andre Johnson on the outside.
I saw his son last night, Frank Gore Jr., about to graduate college. And it blew my mind. I'm like, hold up. His son is about to go in the NFL. He's still in the NFL?
No.
Yeah. No, he's not. He said he would come back if the right team called, though. But and I look at LSU, and I see the talent on the outside. I see the speed on the outside. I see Jamar Chase. I see Justin Jefferson. What good is that speed going to do you if you're scared to go across the middle? You got hunters out there like Sean Taylor and Ed Reed, Jonathan Vilma, hunters. That's just how I feel.
All right. The reason I picked the 2019 team, because in my, I guess, if I can just think about all the times I can think about great football teams, college football teams, there is just like awesome college football. This is just my opinion. Yeah. I mean, it's the 01 Hurricanes. It's the 04 Trojans.
Trojans, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's probably the LSU team from 2019.
Right.
The reason why I picked them is mainly, I remember I had a caveat. What rules are we using? Are we using the 2001 rules, or are we using the 2019 rules?
Yeah.
But
good point, man. Good point.
I think also we're judging them. When you look at the roster, you're judging them off of what they did later on. We don't know what Jamar Chase and Stingley and Queen and Cushenberry and Joe Burrow will look like 10 years, 20 years from now. We don't know that. So
Ed Reed was pretty daggone good in Miami.
Yes, it was Ed Reed. No one knew Sean Taylor was going to be like that in NFL. No one knew Jonathan Vilma was going to be like that.
Well, see, the thing here's
or Frank Gore. Frank Gore was the third running back behind McGahee and Portis.
Yeah, but see, the thing about Sean Taylor is this: Sean Taylor really didn't. He really was in the NFL who he was in college because he didn't get the time to develop into what he could have been. That's the scary part about it. Like Sean Taylor, he could have been, as great as an Ed Reed had he been given that chance.
Yeah.
So in essence, he kind of like as good as he was in the NFL. I think that's how good he was in college, to be honest, because he didn't get the time to develop.
And then my whole thing is, it's a team game, and you go top to bottom, and people always go when they think of team, they just look at the roster.
Yeah.
The quarterback was Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
Who threw cottonelle passes. Their head coach was Larry Coker. Because if you look at the 01 Hurricanes who won the national championship, then look at the 02 team. It had a little bit of drop off, but they lost to Ohio State. Ohio State roster, 02 roster, Maurice Claret.
Yeah.
That's all they really had.
Correct, yeah.
Wait. Didn't they have
Santonio Holmes.
Didn't they have Ted Ginn? Did they have Ted Ginn that year? Ted Ginn Jr.?
They might have.
I thought him and Claret.
He might have been. I think he could have been a freshman when Claret was like a sophomore. They're around the same area though.
Yeah. Michael Jenkins. I don't see Ginn on the.
You mean Malcolm Jenkins?
No. Michael.
No. He was a cornerback, right?
Yeah. So I'm just saying. But if you look at the 02 Hurricanes had McGahee, Andre Johnson, Ken Dorsey again. Frank Gore, Kellen Winslow, Eric Winston, who I think is right at one point in time was the NFL player president. You had DJ Williams, who was really good, who died. Vilma. Did they have the Vince Wilfork on this team?
He was.
Yes, Vince Wilfork was on this team.
Yeah.
So you had all this, and they lost to Ohio State. What I go off is if you give me a team coached by Larry Coker versus Ed Orgeron, I'm taking Ed Orgeron versus an offensive run by Joe Brady and who's the other offensive coordinator? Steve
Ensheimer.
Versus Rod Chudzinski? No.
Real quick. Who was the quarterback of that Ohio State team that they lost to?
Let me see.
It wasn't Craig Krenzel, was it?
No, it was Steve McMillan? McMullen? Troy Smith was on the team. Troy Smith was on the team, but I don't think it. Yeah. So it's like.
Here's my thing.
So I base it off of coaching. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got you.
Because the 2019 LSU team, remember, had Joe Brady as the main calling the plays, and defensively, we had Dave Aranda.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, I've watched college football my whole life, man. And I've seen some awesome teams. And one of my favorite teams, B-Wig, is the 01 Hurricanes. And from a body of work, if you look at the people that came out of the University of Miami in Florida, from 01 to like 05, 06, they got some household names that played in the NFL.
Yeah.
But they only had one title.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's coaching. I mean, it's going to be if you think about it, if you just put it in, physical game, Miami has physicality and speed versus quickness and speed.
LSU had
coaching will eventually let LSU win that game. It's not going to be no blowout or.
But here's my thing, K man. before when LSU had that run, everybody was talking about how good Oklahoma's defense was. And we put up a 60 point on them joints and was just killing them. Then before we played Clemson, everybody was like, "Oh, Clemson's gonna kill LSU. They're gonna kill them." And then when LSU came in there and rolled them, everybody was like, "Oh, dang, this might." And everybody said it. All the critics said this might be the best college football team ever.
And
because
I will
the
say,
way they go ahead.
This is my last point. You give Nick Saban that 01 to 05 roster for Miami Hurricanes. Does he lose a game? And if does he lose a game? Maybe 2 games.
Fair question.
And how many championships he's in contention for? I'm not even gonna say win, contention for. So sometimes it just comes down to coaching. I think the 02 roster was the 01 roster was so loaded, Larry Coker couldn't have messed that up. And I think they diminished a little bit, but still was by far way better. But then his lack of coaching came into play.
And that's a good point, Key, man. My last point about this, man, that's a good point. In today's game, even in the NFL, it comes down to coaching and it comes down to players' work ethic and technique.